Hi, my name is Maddie Carnian, and today I'm going to be discussing Chapter 3 in the leadership book about traits, situational, functional skills, and relational leadership. So, in this chapter, we discuss the 7 primary approaches for understanding and explaining leadership that have evolved over time since for 130 years. The 7 are traits approach, situational approach, functional approach, skills approach, relational approach, transformational approach, and authentic approach. But in this chapter only, we are only going to be discussing those first 5. So, a little summary of each. So, the early social scientists believed that leadership qualities were innate and they were inherited and they were kind of born upon you. They weren't really developed amongst time. So an individual is either born with the traits or need to be a leader, or he or she lack the physiological or psychological characteristics necessary for successful leadership. This approach is called the traits approach, and it suggested that nature played a key role in determining leadership potential. So that it was kind of up to nature and God's plan for you if you're going to be a leader one day, that it couldn't be developed. During the 20th century, this approach kind of waned on because people realized that leadership abilities can be developed, and it is not only born upon you. So then the second approach is a situational approach. So this argues that traits, skills, and behaviors necessary for effective leadership vary from situation to situation. So this means that I might be a great soccer player, but that doesn't mean I'm great at being a teacher. So either I might have leadership skills from one thing, but that doesn't mean I'm going to have leadership skills in another. The example that they used in the book was that Ulysses S. Grant in the Civil War was an amazing military leader, but when he became president, he was kind of inept and he wasn't equipped for the job at hand, which made him not a successful president of the United States. So it's saying that different skills are required for different leadership roles, and just because you're good at one doesn't mean you're going to be good at another. The third one is the functional approach. So this approach identifies factors influencing leadership effectiveness in various contexts. Others have studied the functions of leadership. It looks at the way leaders behave. So the underlying assumption of the functional approach is that leaders perform certain functions that allow a group or organization to operate effectively. An individual is considered a leader if he or she performs these functions. So it's been applied primarily to group leadership. So it really focuses on how you're going to behave while leading others and while leading that group of people, and if you're going to behave properly or improperly. And so it's identifying specific communicative behaviors in order to lead those people to success. The fourth approach is the skills approach. So this identifies the abilities that individuals need to effectively carry out their role as a leader. Unlike traits, these skills can be learned and developed, and that's why the traits approach has kind of waned out, and the skills approach has kind of become the new leadership approach that people really follow, because these skills can be developed a long time and through proper training and through other past leaders that have kind of paved the way for you to be successful. So there's been a variety of leadership skills that have been offered, including those based on organizational levels, leadership tasks, and problem solving. And then the fifth approach is the relational approach. So this focuses on the links or relationships between leaders and followers. So it explores the unique relationship that leaders have with their followers, and it also explores that when leaders and followers have a great relationship, the productivity level is going to be high amongst followers, and they're going to be more willing to work, more willing to perform at a higher rate than when there's not a good relationship between leaders and followers. And then we're going to be discussing the last 2 approaches, which are transformational and authentic, in the next chapter. But as we dive a little deeper, especially into the traits approach, there are specific things that are important to this approach. And they cited that they're actually important to being a leader of traits. And those are cognitive abilities, locus of control, personality, motivation, social appraisal, and that is it, actually. So cognitive abilities are when you discover a link between intelligence and effective leadership. Some people are way mature upon their time. That I was always told that when I was a child, that I was really mature for my age, and that I kind of had that ability to lead people even when I was younger. And then the locus of control is that you that you believe that your rewards are largely under your control and that you control everything that in your path. So that means that you have a strong presence of what you want and how you're going to accomplish it. Personality studies have been conducted all the time about how people that are naturally extroverted are going to be that thrive on social connection and being around other people in interpersonal communication, while other people that are more introverted are more motivated by themselves. And then motivation. They've identified three motives that draw people the most attention from traits research, and those are power, achievement, and affiliation. Power. People that are highly motivated encourages individuals to seek and exert influence as leaders. They enjoy being leaders. They enjoy exerting that power over their followers. Achievement. They thrive on achieving. It's kind of like a high they get when they achieve something really well. They feel a lot better about themselves. But as you move up in positions and jobs, you kind of have to put aside personal achievement to see the success of your followers. And then lastly, it is affiliation. So it's kind of about who you know. Like if you are affiliated with other leaders in that one role, or how you associate yourself with others, that could lead to your success in that role. And then social appraisal. So that's your social intelligence. It's the ability to recognize feelings and emotions that your followers express upon themselves. And so that's all I'm really going to dive into today. The book also touches base upon the situational approach, the 4 communication styles identified there, which are directive, supportive, participative, and achievement-oriented leadership. It talks about the readiness, the 4 combination of ability and willingness indicate follower readiness, which are divvied out between 4 different levels. And then it goes into detail about the functional approach, task-related roles, group building and maintenance roles, individual roles. The skills approach talks about the 3-skill model that's important. And the relational approach talks about the dyad linkage model, the leader-member exchange theory, and all the components that are important to the rest of those 4 leadership approaches. And that'll be my summarization today, and I hope you have a great day.